I've been on a long grind.
Hey
guys, welcome to another episode of FS Uncut. If I'm being honest, I do not want to be here, but I'm your host, Daniel. I'm here with my fellow Footsays brothers, Manny and Kojo. I ain't going to ask them how they're doing because they're just going to come at me. But we're here with two special guests. I'll start with the one that I think would be nicer to me. Toby, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me on, boy. It's been a very, very interesting week in the Premier League. So, boy, I'm glad to be here.
Say it again.
I'm glad to be here.
We're also joined yet again by Bits and Bobs. How you doing, bro?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. It feels like six. I feel like saying six, or 21 or 6. But listen, we're about to get started. Yeah, so what? We're going to have fun tonight.
Listen, so there's only one place to start. The Premier League champions have not scored in 4 games.
How dare you?
Wait.
How you refer to yourself as Premier League, bro?
Dare you?
Down to that Ric Flair come to do 16 time all over again, bro. I want to hear it no more.
The 4-year Anfield record has been broken by Shotton Dyche and Burnley. So guys, whoever wants to start, because I know the man are just gonna come for me. Let me start with Bits and Bobs, because he says he has gist for me tonight.
Listen, yeah. What did I tell you when I last spoke to you? When you apply pressure to a cookie, it crumbles. Okay? You had your Bobby guy out here. Listen, Bobby is shit. Right foot, left foot, a header. He is shit. Listen, my wife hits me harder than he kicks a fucking ball. Yeah. Mo Salah, listen, he's to join fucking Tom Daly and friends. Yeah, the diving little prick. Listen, he went missing. I'm looking for milk cartons for this guy. And Mane, listen, Mane's a brother. Yeah, I respect Mane, but see today, bro. Today, just showed why you're playing at Liverpool, because that's your level, you useless woman. Literally, you useless mannequin of a player. Seriously, he is. Do you know what? Actually, Lauren Jones? Is it Lauren James at Man United?
Oh, Reece James' sister, yeah?
Yeah, Reece James' sister.
Yeah.
Better striker, better player. Better than all your front three. Anyway, let's start to the Shakira playing centre midfield. Man,
Shakira.
Xavi and Iniesta with them through balls. Is he dumb? Is he a dickhead? What? Little prick. Shut up about trying to force the ball. Jermaine Pennant at right back. Talk to me, bro. What's happening? Every Tom, Dick and Mohammed was doing 1-2 tricks and getting past him. Dwight literally quick kicked the ball and went past your right back. Centre back, listen, you got 2 Caramel Maltesers playing at the back, man. So I don't even know why I go on for you guys. Left back, listen, I got no qualms with my Scottish friend, so he's cool. Listen, Liverpool FC, I'm telling you right now, are finished. Listen, Monster said pray for your rivals. You need Klopp and every Liverpool fan to pray for you right now, because what I'm seeing right now, Stone Cold Steve Austin just came and done a fucking madness right now. Brexit FC, I'm talking Tory and all them men, have just came and done a madness. 1-0. Klopp should have complained about Burnley getting penalties, bro. How ironic. You shouldn't have opened your mouth, Klopp. You shouldn't have opened your mouth. See what happens? Last time I spoke to you, I told you. We were 3 points. Now we're 6 points. Everton, my friend. Everton have got 2 games in hand on you, are 2 points behind on you. Flipping West Ham could win their next game and go above you. David Moyes and friends. All right, listen, someone take me, because I don't even want to get cut from the stream. Listen, I'm enjoying myself. Look, Thursday night football, it's not for everyone.
Toby, do you have anything to add?
Listen, it's weird because I've been quite vocal in my opinion that Liverpool are still the team to beat, but the form we've seen in the last month has been unbelievably poor. Like shockingly poor. It's not even the fact that they're not defending well. They're not scoring. They're struggling to create. They're struggling to get any assists from wide positions from their fullbacks now. They're not really getting much in the middle. Their front three are misfiring. And now, no one could have seen it coming. Burnley, it's always one of these random dead teams that always ends these unbeaten runs. I remember, I think for Chelsea, it was Sunderland who ended their run. Sunderland beat them like 3-0 at Stamford Bridge. It's always one of these weird teams that always ends this run, but it's just scary that Liverpool, the great Liverpool, are faltering like this. And I don't want to be
the great Liverpool, please.
Oh, they're not great though.
They're not great. We can't say that.
Let's put some respect. They've been a great side for the last 2.5 years. But what we're seeing now is the wheels are slowly starting to fall off, and I feel like they need to do some damage control quickly. What we know is that they have enough quality to turn this around. I'm not going to hear otherwise. They have enough quality to turn this form around, but they need reinforcements. They need Jota back. They need a new centre back. They need some fresh impetus into this team because there are certain players.
Whose fault is that though? Whose fault is that?
But you say whose fault is that? But they planned for this though. They with exception of not signing a centre back, which was the only thing I could say that they didn't do well in. They needed more depth in midfield. They signed Thiago. They needed a backup left back. They signed Tsimikas. They needed another attacker that could rival the likes of Firmino, Salah, and Mane. They signed Jota. So those aspects in terms of improving the depth in their team, they plugged all those holes with the exception of centre back. But what we've seen this season is they've had an unfortunate raft of injuries that they've not really come across the last 2.5 years, and it is the truth. And the thing is,
they weren't saying nothing when it happened to City last season, though. Last season, City had the madness of injuries.
But that's what I was about to say. What we're seeing now is they've been brought down to other clubs' levels in terms of the magnitude of injuries. Man United had loads of injuries over the past 2.5 years. We've had loads of injuries. Man City, they've had a raft of injuries this season and last season as well. So they're experiencing some real turmoil in terms of being unable to keep their players fit. And it's starting to show. Players are getting leggy, players are getting tired. Some players have played 6, 7, 8 games on the trot. Fabinho needs a rest. Ronaldo needs a rest. Andy Robertson, I can't remember the last time I saw this guy on the bench for Liverpool. He's been playing for like 2-3 months straight. So listen, I feel like some players are just running out of steam.
Manny, do you have anything to add to
Liverpool
that?
is dead. Everything about Liverpool's dead. Dead. I'm telling you. Listen, certain man were saying back to back. We're going to do the treble, this future treble winners, future back to back. Listen, my question is, where are you? Where are you? Back to back, back to life, back to reality, back to life, back to reality. My God. Listen, Klopp, yeah. That's it. Klopp is a flop. Listen, no, in all seriousness, yeah, I'm just happy. I'm happy because you see, you Liverpool fans, yeah, you hold your chest out, yeah, like you man are bench pressing 180 or something like that. Listen, you guys, yeah, you're small. You need to relax. You're not part of that legendary status. You get me? One Premier League title and your heads are gone. Listen, I hear what Toby's saying, obviously, about you guys with the injuries and stuff. But every team gets injuries. United had mad injuries last season, and we still made top 3. You know what I mean? Chelsea. Well, who cares about Chelsea? Who cares about Arsenal? City, they had their injuries. Do you know what I mean? We don't see them complaining. You get on with it. But you have one injury to Van Dijk and a dead Gomez, Matip, okay, and then you're crying. Man and Salah they can't put the ball. Even Origi, bruv. My man doesn't even know how to put the ball in the back of the net no more. Man's hitting the post and side. Come on, man. Like, my question for you, Daniel, is like, how are you feeling? Because you're asking me the questions. How are you feeling, bro?
Daniel, listen, my DMs are open, bro. Anytime, bro.
Wait, one sec. So how am I feeling? I'm not gonna lie, my head is hot. I didn't expect us to lose. I thought we were gonna draw, but I'm speechless. I'm not gonna lie. I'm absolutely speechless. Like, I don't even know where the next goal is coming from. I don't know where the next win is coming from. It's just ridiculous. But before I head over to Kojo, Mister, how are you doing?
Is that me? Oh, you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
It's Meister, man. Mate, I appreciate it, man.
How you doing?
Man. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. I'm very
No
well.
worries.
Hope you
No
guys are
worries.
doing good.
I think everybody here is doing well. I'm not. I can't wait till this is over. But Kojo, I remember early on in the season when I was talking a lot of smack. You said next time Liverpool lose, you'll be on here. So take it away.
You know, I said next time Liverpool lose, I would host, but this is actually much more fun. So I'm enjoying the fact. I listen to the anguish in your voice whilst you ask all these lovely guests, who, by the way, collected 3 points this week. Hello, everybody. You know, so we did our jobs. Certain people did not. 4 years, even though Atletico and Atalanta beating you home anyway. But anyway, 4 years. Streak is finally over. I'll say this though. This has been coming for a while. There's always teams in Premier League history that they go through a run of like winning great games and maybe they collect a title or so, or they do great things in the league for their sort of achievements and be overachieved. But then there's something coming, and your recent results have been very, 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 very bad. Draws with West Brom, draws with Fulham, and obviously this game today as well. And these are deserved results. Fulham deserved a point against you, maybe more. West Brom exposed a weakness in your side and got a draw against you. And then today, Burnley just did what they had to do. You had 27 shots to 6, and they looked like they weren't even sweating too tough. Like that's what has become of you. The constant whipping of the ball into the box.
Yeah.
You got 6 foot plus Nick Pope having the day of his life, just collecting balls in the air. You got
Get out of here, man.
defenders. You know what you reminded me of, yeah? You know what you reminded me of? I'm being deadly serious. Remember when we had David, that guy, I'm not going to say his last name because his name's banned in my house.
The crossing game be Fulham.
81 crossing. Remember that day? That's what you were doing for him. You was whipping balls in, and it was appalling. But this has been coming, and I'll tell you this as well. When Klopp and Dash were arguing here at halftime, in my head I was thinking, Dash has got you, you know.
Yeah.
Dash lives for this. He's got you. Klopp's head was hot, and then from there the decisions were poor. Minamino coming on didn't make sense. It's all these kind of things. I don't know why Salah was rested. You got Man United in the FA Cup, I understand that, but you need to find form in the league and find it fast because you're starting to fall away as City are hitting top levels right now. And whether United not winning games against the top 6, but they're winning games against everybody else, so they're opening that gap as well. And you're letting everyone else catch up to you. People have been, for example, looking at Tottenham's form, for example, and Tottenham haven't been in the best of form, but they're literally just there, you know. So
they have
with a game in hand. So you need to pick up the pace and find a solution. And I don't understand what Klopp was trying today, but obviously it didn't work out. So this is a deserved loss as well, because the fact is, this has been coming. You are not going to stay unbeaten at home forever. I'm kind of happy that it's Brexit FC. For one day, yeah, I'm feeling, I don't care about the EU or that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling their vibe just for one day only. This is a special day. So you deserve what was coming to you. And it came courtesy of Ashley Barnes. But you're not even the host I want. There's a certain man that's on this platform that's hiding from all of us. I need to find him.
Missing.
Call him out right now.
Harold
for Harold.
Story.
Harold, show your face,
Only
bro.
finally when we win, though,
And
innit?
face the pain.
You remember what he was saying in the chat today? He was saying that he can see Liverpool going on a 10-game unbeaten streak.
He said those words.
He said that. And it was based off no evidence apart from I'm a Liverpool fan and I believe in Klopp. He didn't want to take into the fact that they can't score to save their lives. They're defending poorly. Their creative output aren't creative. It's ridiculous. Their players are running on fumes. It's crazy. Yep. And the thing is, I spoke about injury before, but I feel like mentioning just the injuries and the fatigue and stuff is letting them off the hook too easily. The fact of the matter is they have just been awful. The fact that you can't score against Newcastle, the fact that you can't score against Burnley, the fact that you can't score against Southampton. Are literally gung-ho. What? The fact that you can't put more than one goal past West Brom, fatigue for me is in the mind when it comes to games like this. You need to put them to bed and you need to put them teams to the sword. And the fact that we're seeing Mane, Salah, Firmino shoot blanks. Firmino today missing another chance like that. Like, we all thought he was back after that Palace game. I was thinking, okay, you're back. And now he reverts back to type. Like, fundamentally, no matter what we say about the injuries and form, they are playing crap. And like you said, Coach, everything that we saw today, Burnley may have not deserved 3 points, but that Liverpool loss was coming. They were warned at Fulham. They were warned against West Brom. They were warned against a couple sides.
Wheel it up, man. Wheel it up.
We should have even beat them.
And they were warned against us as well. We had so many chances to win that game. They won it 2-1. Listen, this isn't I hate Liverpool to read because I like Liverpool, but
I don't. I hate them.
Nobody here does except you.
Even United as well. United 2-3 chances last week to put the game to bed. So, like Coach said, this L is on the horizon
for the league anyway.
Miser, we been talking about Liverpool's poor form. Toby has said it's been coming. Liverpool have been poor for a while. Since the Palace game, we've played a couple teams in the bottom half and not scored many goals. Liverpool, if you look at them in the table, then a top 4 race. Where do you see them finishing this season? Because they've gone from being in a title race to not even having the top 4 place secured. What do you think?
I think Liverpool need to get a win very soon. I want to touch on what Toby said. I just think that the front three are all
Move, man.
off.
Move that comment out here. Sorry. Move that comment out here, man.
Mane and Salah are off form, and Firmino was finding form. I think it doesn't help that Origi hasn't had a look in all season. So you're chucking him in as if he's been getting minutes when he's behind players like Mino. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like Jota came in and done a great job, but I think Origi's also lack of minutes was due to him not getting a move last summer as well. So it's hard for Klopp in terms of he wants to rotate his squad, but at the same time, when the guys that are coming in are not getting the minutes that they deserve, then it's difficult when you look at the team suffering at the moment. But I do think Liverpool will finish top 4. They should have enough. Yeah, that's what I think.
It's crazy how we're talking about Liverpool finishing top 4, but as Bits and Bob said, we're acting like cookies. We're crumbling under the pressure. It's very sad to see, and the smile on Kojo's face, the way Manny's acting, I hate it. I hate it with a passion, but I can't hate because United are doing well, and I feel that's a perfect segue because I can't talk about Liverpool any longer. Man.
Daniel, just to conclude.
No, Miser, what was your question?
Do you think that, I know Liverpool brought in Thiago, but now, you know how their midfield always used to be very passive? I know Henderson's missing and no one can deny his value in that team now. And before he used to be like a percentage man, and he just used to occupy space. But when he plays, you see his value. And I feel like, obviously, Naby Keita and players like that haven't delivered. But I look at Wijnaldum, the way he plays for Liverpool, and then I look at how he plays for Holland. Is he doing enough? I know Thiago Alcantara has just come in and he's an elite player. You can see his level. But I just feel like the midfield, are they doing enough? Are they doing enough to feed the forwards? And are they contributing enough as well? Because it can't be every day Salah. It can't be every day Mane. Oxlade is coming back. But that's how I look at the team, man. I feel like they need other... And fullbacks have dried up, huh? but do you know what's crazy though?
Over the excursion, come on.
No, but do you know what's crazy? That the fact that your two main suppliers are defenders, bro. That's even more alarming to me when it's supposed to be like a number 10, an attacking mid that should be dropping assists left, right, front, and center. So
dried up like dead food, bro. Dried up like dead food, man.
Yeah, man.
The streets, bro. The dead.
Well, I think was it Palace that they pulled him off at half time. That he gave away the ball 36 times in the first half. Southampton, first half. Yeah, man.
Southampton, yeah.
And again, that's due to Trent just being complacent since he displaced Nathaniel Klein. So,
Man thinks he can rip a ball in, and that's it. Doesn't work like that, you know. Sometimes ice cream melts, you know. It's not every day, Mr. Whippy.
That's the manager, man. That's the manager. It's all right.
I think he's been an abomination this season, Trent. I have to be harsh on him, and he's literally one of my favorite right backs. In fact, I call him.
He's best right back in England.
Yeah, I do. On top form, I think he is. Maybe not.
He's the best right mid in England, isn't it?
Maybe not defensively, but I feel like the package that he brings from fullback, his playmaking is unbelievable. It's out of this world. So, but I feel like this season he's not doing it at the top end, and I feel like because of how great he was at the top end, it almost overcompensated for what happened at the bottom end of the pitch. And what aided that was the fact that Joe Gomez was there to hold his hand and sweep up when he pushes up. You got Jordan Henderson when he's normally deployed in midfield. He normally operates in that right hand flank to give him some cover. But I feel like with Hendo playing at centre back or not even playing well in some games with no Gomez, he's not got that defensive protection. So he's getting ripped in 1v1 scenarios and just defending poorly. And now to add to it, even when he's going forward, he looks lackluster. His balls are shocking. His passing is wayward. Even today, there was one, I think it was in the stoppage time as well. Simple pass to Robertson just to launch one into the box. And he hits it into the stands. And I'm like, that's indicative of what we've seen from Trent this season. With the exception of maybe 3-4 matches, he has been a total mess. And it's so cheeky as well, because when they played Spurs and Jose Mourinho made those...
man. I knew you were coming to that. I knew you were coming to that.
When he played Spurs, he put out that stupid tweet, the best team won. And the thing is, I like Trent, but that triggered me. That really, really triggered me. And since then, it's gone from bad to worse for him. So, boy, he needs to look himself in the mirror and he needs to improve ASAP.
But Toby, you know what you just said, yeah, about being the best right back? Has he really been the best right back?
Is he better than Trippier?
Yes, he is better than
Yeah,
Trippier.
he's better than Trippier. Come on, man. Come on.
He's better than Trippier. Come on.
Is he?
Let's put some respect.
Yeah,
on
come
him.
on.
I'm just saying because, like, I just think, right, this is the same player we've been seeing. It's just that he's been sussed out. He's been found out now, you know? It's not every day you cross from deep. Do you know what I mean? It's not every day you can just whip the balls and stuff. I don't think he has any other attributes to his game. He's not a defender. Like, it's okay when your team's in possession and you've got space to cross and stuff. Anyone can look good. And when you're front three, if you pass to Mane and he scores, it's an assist. If you pass to Salah, he scores as an assist. Anyone can look good if you just whip the ball, man. Kevin flipping Ginger of all time does that Man City. But look, the thing now is that players and teams now are thinking, actually, you're not that good. If I run at you, look, mate, an average Burnley, a whole Burnley. Okay.
Well, you don't even have to run at them, you know.
But this is the thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I know we're saying
what McNeil did to him today was dirty. I'm not gonna lie. That was what I saw.
Exactly. I'm just saying,
but even then,
do people get?
No, go on, bit.
So no, I'm just saying, do people get that title or the best because they're in the team that's winning trophies? Because for a best right back, he's not even the best defensive right back.
Yeah,
but do you know what I'm trying to say?
It goes both ways though, because Bissaka is meant to be one of the best defensive right backs, and you see how much of a detriment he is to Man United when they're on the ball. So we can't just talk about the defending, because Trent is an assistant that works with him. He's normally got players that work and cater to his style, and when you get him on the ball, the rest is history. So there are some players I feel like you have to sacrifice. You have to take the L on the weaker parts of their game for the good of the best part of their game. And with Trent, it's his playmaking. Because let's face it, in world football, and I'll say this with chest, in world football, short of maybe Ashraf Hakimi at Inter Milan, I don't think there's a right back in world football that can offer you the offensive contribution that he does in terms of goal scoring, passing, crossing. He's unbelievable on the ball. Unbelievable.
I hear that.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. But with Trent, I can't even defend him because this season he's been appalling, and I think he deserves all the criticism that's coming his way.
Will they play the young card?
Yeah, he's a young player, but like,
stop it.
He's a young player, but
no, he's not young.
Stop it. Because when Rashford was going through a bad spell, everyone was talking about, he's a senior pro. He has 150 appearances, all this.
That was Jose.
It wasn't just Jose, it was everyone.
The 150 appearances, that was Jose. The 150, that was Jose.
Now,
how many? Trent has been your right back for the last 3 seasons.
Facts. We can't be using the age.
So you can't use he's a youngster.
He's a free.
No, I wasn't saying it because Miser said he's young. I'm like,
No,
yes,
I
he is
said,
young.
I said they're not going to use the age card.
No,
That's
we
what-
can't. No, we can't use the age card. He is young in terms of his age, but that cannot be an excuse because the way he's been performing has been poor. He cannot be the mistakes he's been making, especially the Southampton game. He cannot be doing that. And today, that Dwight McNeil skill that he did past him, if you watch it properly, Dwight McNeil dragged it back, and in his standing leg, it just hit his standing leg and went past Trent.
Exactly.
And that absolutely did Trent. And the thing is, that wasn't surprising because that's happened with Trent over and over again. So he needs to improve. But the thing is, it's not just him that needs to improve. Apart from maybe Robertson and Allison, everyone in that team has to have a long, hard look at themselves. But enough about Liverpool. Let's talk about teams who are moving serious at the moment. Manchester
Top
United.
of the league, baby. We
Manchester
top of the
United,
league, baby.
top of the league.
Yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Top of the league.
Mm.
They don't seem to be losing games. They don't seem to be drawing games. They're just winning. They're
What
winning
is
the league
that?
at the moment.
Losing, what is that?
But on another
We're not
day,
Liverpool,
we're
you know.
going to draw, though. On another day.
Let's start with bits and bobs. What you said about United, that game against Fulham, that Pogba goal especially, what a finish. Let's talk on Pogba because
What are you
I know
guys saying?
I know Manny loves Pogba. I know Kojo loves Pogba. At the start of the season, a lot of people were getting onto him. People on Twitter were getting onto him. The commentators were getting onto him. Then Mino Raiola comes out and says that. And ever since then, Pogba has been playing at a world-class level. He's been Manchester United's best player since Mino Raiola came out and said that. So what do you think about Paul Pogba at the moment?
Do you know what, yeah? I
would
said
just
this
say-
when we very first signed him. I said it, yeah. I said that we didn't need him at the time. It didn't make sense to sign him at the time, okay? Because to sign Pogba at the time, it wasn't really a priority. It was also a commercial signing. However, this is Paul Pogba. And do you know why I like Paul Pogba, yeah? Paul Pogba's got the swag, something we Africans got. Do you know, I see Paul Pogba, I think, yeah, this guy's represented not just France, not just Africa, but London. Do you know what I mean? Like, the way he is, the character, the swag, the way he dances. And then, you know, when you come on the pitch, yeah, do you know who Paul Pogba is, yeah? You know when you go out to play football with your family, and you're like, oh, can my cousin play? And you try to hustle the other team, oh, he's all right at football. But man will bring it out in the air, trap it, test it, top bins everywhere. Listen, Paul Pogba is the fucking best player in the football league. I don't care what anyone says. You can shout your Kevin De Bruyne, you can shout your Bruno. I don't give a shit. Pogba's
better
I'm
than
saying this
Kevin De Bruyne.
real chest, yeah. Listen, Mr. Labiou, Lapios. Listen, all I'm gonna say to you, yeah, this guy, just let him play his football. Look, right foot, left foot, whichever one you want. Pick your poison, okay? This guy, yeah, look, people are going to hate on Paul Pogba. We know why the media hate him. He's black. He's not a robot. He's got his own, he does his own thing. He doesn't drink. Do you know what I mean? He's not out here badding up policemen or anything. We know why the media don't like him. But the fans don't like him because
Why are you sending shots to your captain?
What?
But, bro, I'm just talking, bro. You asked me a question. I'm just answering it, fam.
You need to understand one thing, yeah. Just to help bits and bobs out there.
Right.
You see Harry Maguire, yeah. He's been decent this season, yeah. Well,
Very good. He's been very good.
he's been decent this season, but he's not our captain. Okay,
No,
he's
Bruno,
not our,
you know Bruno's the captain, isn't it?
Bruno's our captain at the moment.
Yeah, no,
It's a bit,
Bruno.
debatable. But yeah, just to let you know, Harry Maguire, that's not our captain.
Exactly. And just to round up on Pogba, yeah, he's repeating the form of 18-19. But do you know the funny thing is that, like, I think now, yeah, he's just basically decided, you know what, F you lot, I'm just going to play football. See, the reason he scored that goal was because he said, Ollie, suck your mum, I'm going to go forward with the ball. You saw my man look left. So the defender's looking that way. My man said, say no more. Left foot top bins. Do you know what I mean? Listen.
Yeah, that was a brilliant goal. That was
looking for him to cross the ball. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? And it was in the back of the net, bro. So listen, top of the league. Pogba's playing well. You know, we've still got Greenwood to come to the party. We've still got Martial to come to the party.
Man, I'm scared for him.
Do you know that Pogba goal? Yeah. Do you know what I love about it?
Wait, Manny, one sec.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Two things, Miser, because when I was speaking at the start, you weren't convinced about Manchester United. You said it could have been a draw on another day. And you just said you're worried about Mason Greenwood. I want you to touch on both of that. United not being convincing in your eyes and Mason Greenwood.
No,
because,
I just said no. I think Fulham had enough chances to get something in that game. That's what I meant by it. But Greenwood, I'm scared for him, bro.
How come?
Why?
Because it's not looking like it was looking last season, and I don't know if it's the external things or it's the lack of minutes. But he's just not looking like when he plays through the middle. He's not looking as solid as he is, and then when he's on the right, he's just not involved. That's my observation.
You know, the way with me and Greenwood is the reason I'm not too upset about his form this year is because at the end of the day, he's still a kid. So despite how good he was last year, he's still young, and you'll go through these things in your career, and it's about how the bounce back is. And this season, he hasn't started a lot of games, and he hasn't played a lot of consistent minutes. So I'm not really fussed about his form. I think it will come. I think once you get a run of games, you get back into your groove. Sharpness counts for a lot in football. At the end of the day, you can get fit, but you need to be sharp. How you read the game, how you play the game. He's a young guy, so I got time for him to find his groove and get back into it. But I'm not really fussed about him.
Do you think? Oh, sorry, bro. Go on. I think it was your hand up.
No, go on. I was gonna get back on Paul Pogba with.
Oh, okay, man. I
just
wanted to touch on. Do you think Cavani must play for you guys to win the league? Does he start?
Yeah, Cavani starts for me on the basis that he does more as a striker than Martial does. That's as simple as it gets. Martial,
because Cavani's a striker though. Martial isn't.
But it is though. If Martial has also been screaming, I want that number 9, I want to be the striker. So you must do what other strikers are not doing and elevate your game. You know what I mean? Like, be the standout because he's always getting ball to feet like he was on the wing. When you're playing as a striker, you need to be able to have an all-round game. I understand there are limited players, but make the best of your ability and do it often. He's so in and out. Like, I forgot who we also played at Old Trafford when Wan-Bissaka did the little cross and he done the diving header, scored a goal. How often does Anthony Martial do that kind of stuff?
Never.
You know what I'm saying? He's not consistent with it as a striker.
He's natural game. He's natural game. He doesn't get in behind. That's what
exactly.
That's
Exactly.
That's it.
He's finishing the season.
Have you had that chat? Is he fit enough?
I think he's fit, man.
He's fit.
Behind. I don't think he's fit like that, man.
No.
The thing with Martial, I don't think it's a fitness issue. I think footballers, there's different types of footballers. There's footballers who love to run into the space. Jamie Vardy, he's not going to ask for the ball to feet. He's always going to be running.
Rashford runs channels.
Rashford runs channels. Martial, apart from maybe the first season under LVG, he's a player that always wants the ball to feet. And he wants to be expressive. So with him, it's not a fitness issue because when Martial runs against Liverpool, when he was driving Manchester United forward, when he was on the pitch, you saw that it wasn't a fitness issue. He was gassing guys. So with him, I don't even think it's a fitness issue. I just think that's how he plays football. Yeah. That's how he likes to play.
And you see with Martial, I don't believe he likes competition because when Lukaku was there, he didn't really have like a good 2 seasons. When he first came through, there wasn't really much competition. Rooney was either not playing as a striker or on the bench. Do you know what I mean? We're on the LVG. But then it's like all of a sudden last season, it's just him. Like, okay, we know Martial is a left winger. You're going to be our striker. He has no competition. You bring in Igalo. Everyone knows Igalo's backup because Rashford got injured. Now you're bringing in Cavani, who you know is a goal scorer. And I think Martial's looking at that like, I'm here. Why are you bringing another guy? And I don't think he does well with competition. Because every time he's had competition, he's not performed.
Cavani has played completed 90 minutes 3 times this whole season, and he's got much more goals than Martial. That's alarming. And Martial starts a lot more than Cavani. That's not up for a debate. So for me, last season you did very well as a striker. You scored a decent amount of goals. People, it's silly, but you know, there's certain people on the social media that will do silly comparisons to Kane and all that nonsense.
No, not even close.
But you have to level up because your team finished 3rd last season, and if you want to become contenders, which your team kind of is right now, you need to be a star man. No, I'm saying kind of because I've been here before, bro. I'm not gonna come and rush in and be like, yeah, we're there. Take time. But Cavani's doing a much better job because yes, he is a much more experienced striker. He's a killer. We know this about him, and it's been in his career his whole time. But surely, as number 9, you need to know that you need to make your game. Try and make it a little more complete. Add more, because you can look at the teams around you. Kane does his thing. You know what I mean? Aguero, when he's fit,
but he's still playing for a shit club.
This Aguero, when he's fit, does his thing. Well, Daniel, I can't talk about your guy really. Mr. Antonio doing his. You see what I'm saying? Antonio, Antonio provides a threat.
You know what? All goals count, but all these goals are jammy, bro. Scuffy goals, bro. All of them.
His goal last time wasn't jammy. What are you talking about?
Last game was jammy, bro. It wasn't clean connection. It wasn't clean connection.
Scored it though. I don't do that. He scored it.
No, mate. Come on, man. Goals are goals, bro. Goals are goals.
Exactly.
Goals are... we take them, mate. We're Europa League, bro. Don't worry.
Toby, you said you wanted to touch on Pogba. What did you want to say on Pogba? Because I think when he's been good in the past, he hasn't gotten his flowers, because he has had good moments for United. I don't know why the media is acting as if this is the first time he's been good for United. But now that he's good and United are good at the same time, it's as if he's getting his flowers. What do you think on Paul? Or your opinions on Pogba?
I think with Paul Pogba, there's a lot of revisionism from Paul Pogba stands, and I think it's expected, because he's playing the best football he's played for Man United since that Renaissance period under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. When Ole first came in, there was a two and a half month spell where he was unplayable for Man United, literally scoring, winning them matches. And then guess what happened after that 2.5 month stint? Same thing that happens with Paul Pogba all the time. And I feel like the Paul Pogba stands get it twisted and make it seem like, oh, when you criticize Paul Pogba, you're saying that he's a bad player. When you criticize Paul Pogba, you're not saying that he's a bad player. You're criticizing him because you hold him to a standard where the level he's playing at is not acceptable. Yeah. We hear that Paul Pogba is a world-class midfielder. We hear that he's this talismanic player. So show us that you're this talismanic player. This Paul Pogba I'm seeing now, this is a world-class version of Paul Pogba. The goals he's scoring, the general performances over the 90. And you notice as well, he's playing a variety of positions for Man United, but the performance levels aren't dipping. For years and years and years, we've been hearing about, oh, yeah, he needs this, he needs that, he needs this, he needs that. He played in a double pivot the other game, and he was Man United's best midfielder. He played right mid against Liverpool, and he was one of Man United's better players. He played left against Burnley, Man United's best player. You get my point here. He's playing a number of positions, but the minimum standard is not dipping. And that's what we've wanted from Paul Pogba his entire Man United career. His first 3-4 years at Man United, it was a good player with inconsistencies. So, yes, you're playing well, but are you playing to a world-class standard? No. His first season, in my opinion, was good, but he had consistency issues. Second season was good, consistency issues. Third season, good. Inconsistency issues again. It's the same thing over and over again. So are we calling you a good player, or are we calling you a world-class player? Because if we're calling you a world-class player, those standards...
Yeah, but listen,
better.
We shagged him though. We shagged Pogba.
How did you shag him?
We obviously
how did you shag him?
We were getting this player, that player. Bro, imagine being Paul Pogba and you're coming to play in the 6, and you've got Jesse Lingard in front of you, you've got Andres Pereira to the left of you. Come on, man. The reason what's happening now is that he's been doing his job, but now, other players are doing their job. That's what's happening. Trust me.
No.
But bits and bobs, you say that about Pogba, but then Bruno came into this team and was very good. So what would you say about Bruno?
Can I answer that one, Bobs?
Pogba took a step back. Bruno.
Before you answer that, Coach, basically, your point as well, bits above. So your point on other players are stepping up now. Those same players were there at the start of the season, and Paul Pogba was absolutely shocking. He was awful for the first two. Before he had COVID.
But remember from his leg injury, man. He wasn't fit anyway.
What do you mean he wasn't fit? He was playing. What am I hearing? He played. No, bro. He played in the restart. Are you forgetting that? He came back from injury in the restart. He played, and he was playing well. And then the form started to dip. Southampton, awful. I can't remember what other matches they played. He was bad.
West Ham.
The form started to dip. And then the season started, and he was playing just...
You're talking.
No, bro. Just one sec. So you're saying...
I'm joking.
Yeah, but you're saying other players are stepping up, but those players were stepping up at the start of the season, and he wasn't playing this well. So I don't understand it. Pogba sexuals love to shift the
What do
goalpost.
you call them? What do you say?
Wait.
Pogba, I'm calling you Pogba sexual. That's what you're calling. You love to shift the goalpost. You like to make it out as if it's Pogba against the world. It
Yeah,
is.
what you said, bro. That was
We just want to see a world-class player play to a world-class level. It's that simple.
Simple as.
Nobody has ever doubted his ability. Nobody calls him a bad player. We all think he's a quality player. But when you lot are telling us he's world-class and we're not seeing world-class levels, of course we're going to talk.
And even to add to that, like, let's look at it for what it is in terms of, like, we totally understand the media agenda at times, or pretty much all the time, against Paul Pogba. But sometimes, or most of the time, when we're judging football, and this is why we have these platforms, we're allowed to take that media criticism away and actually analyze for ourselves. We watch the game for ourselves, and we understand football. So we're allowed to criticize a player who you believe should be doing more than what he's been doing. If I ask you, has Paul Pogba been a success at Man United for the £80 million that they spent on him? The answer should straight away be no. He's not been good enough. He's not been good enough. And it's simple as, like, there's no two ways about it. What we're seeing from him is what we want to see from him week in, week out. All this, Pogba's fat. Look, the Man United fans are actually funny when it comes to Paul Pogba as well, because so many people have discredited this guy. Basically, it was how many weeks ago, Kojo? We were having a discussion on another podcast. How many weeks ago was it that every Man United fan that we spoke to was saying, "Oh yeah, he's getting sold at the end of the season." Now it's title charge. He's leading our midfield. He's the main man. We need him. Can't let him go.
Daniel, even with that as well, there's still fans out there saying that he has nothing to do with this title run. So United fans in general, most of the time, there's no decisiveness in their brains. It's just utter nonsense. But on Pogba, quickly, just from my side, is obviously you mentioned Bruno. When Bruno came in, the guys were performing, and you're right. When Pogba was injured that time as well, that's when McTominay and Fred found a decent level of form. We went and we beat City, for example. But also that previous week before Bruno came, we lost 1-0 at home to Burnley. So they were as inconsistent as each other as well. Man United weren't in a really good spot in that moment in time. The thing about when Bruno came in, he's different gravy. He's come in, he's made I'm never going to forget that, by the way, Toby. I'm telling you right now.
It's public knowledge. It's not even my fingers. It's been on Twitter, but
it's the first time I've heard it. That's why.
Same.
But the thing about Bruno is when Bruno came in, and I was screaming for Bruno. You can go back and find me just screaming for his name. Is I knew that he would have this sort of impact where I feel like we were missing a midfielder that just took the ball and wanted to make things happen like that. And that wasn't going to happen with the guys that we had fit at that moment in time. When Pogba came back from injury after lockdown, and you saw him, Bruno, and Matic for about 5-6 games, they were in good form. They were playing well with each other. They were doing their thing. The thing about Pogba is this. Pogba hasn't been an overriding success. That it would be an absolute false for anyone to say that, because quite frankly, we've been signing someone for £80 million.
93 million, sorry.
93 million pounds. You are hoping that minimum in a season you get a 7 out of 10 minimum, and then everything else is above. So even when your team plays bad, he's at least a standout.
Yes.
The issue I also bring on the other side is, we've been watching United's over and over, is I always say this: a quality player will not be able to do his job effectively if everyone else is not doing the job around him with him. So it's like, for example, if he gets the ball and he's got his back to goal in a deeper position and he's looking for someone to come and help him out. And there's been times where he's not made the simple pass. I'll get onto him on that as well. But there's been times where you look and you're like, where's the people around him? Where they're going to help him? Look, this season, De Gea was out of form for 2.5 years. Finally found himself. Luke Shaw has been missing form from time. Suddenly Tellers appears and suddenly he wants to play ball.
He was already one of your better players.
Lindelof last season had a good season, but before that, he looked like he wasn't settling anytime soon.
I wouldn't say he had a good season last year, but hey ho, yeah.
I think he was good in terms of
Lindelof,
the simple things, and his level of improvement improved, but it wasn't a great success either.
But improved from such a low level, though. You could say.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to give him props on the.
What you also have to do, you have to compare Lindelof to Ruben Diaz, because that's who you also wanted. So look at the level of performance.
I don't want to talk about the Ruben Diaz thing because that hurt me, bro. Trust me, I don't want to talk about it. But Fred as well. Fred, we've been criticizing him for a long time. We've been very nice. Only now that we can say he's been doing well, stuff like that. So I said I had a disagreement with a United fan this morning because I was like, you're still screaming Pogba's name. But what about the other guys that haven't performed in this team? We have to keep it energy, like Martial, for example.
Bro, we know why we don't. He doesn't like. We know why some Man United fans don't like him. I'll say it. Let's be honest, bro.
Yeah, we know.
Listen,
we know that, but this isn't this really, that is not gonna, like Daniel mentioned, that's not gonna fly in this forum because we're all black men. We know what it is when it comes to
we know it. Yeah,
we know. We're gonna look past that. We're gonna look past that because we don't factor any of that into the conversation. We're not like those who criticize him for the sake of criticizing. Okay. We are talking about his game performances for Man.
What he does on the pitch.
The fact of the matter is, when you hold the guy to a world-class standard and you buy him for 93 million, and we're not seeing that standard, you're gonna get criticized. And I just want to ask this question now: what world-class player do you know that's been as inconsistent as Paul Pogba to a world-class standard, not just inconsistent in general, has been as inconsistent as Paul Pogba has to a world-class standard over the last 5 years and can still call himself a player?
That's a 5 years.
Name me one.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why.
There isn't one.
When you say the last part of the question, sorry, Toby, you cut out. It cut out for me. Sorry, what was the last part of the question?
So the last part of the question is: can you name me any world-class player who has shown you the form Paul Pogba has shown you over his 5 years at Man United that can still be called a bona fide world-class player today?
None.
No.
Zilch.
No. So then, why don't we keep the same energy for Paul Pogba? How can he be called a world-class player if he doesn't show world-class consistency?
That's why I don't call him world-class. I'm stiff with that. I'm stiff with that term.
Wait. Who thinks Pogba is world-class? You think Pogba is world-class?
I think he has world-class ability.
He's not world-class.
I don't think he's world-class.
His ability.
Do you think Manchester United can play? Do you think Manchester United can win the league without Paul Pogba?
Wait, Mister, can I ask a question?
Why does that make
I just want to know something quickly, just because I always like to understand this before I do it, because I've had so many debates about the world class thing. What's your criteria for world class?
Per position, bro. Per value.
It's value on the
team, bro. I feel like if you ask Manchester United fans, would you rather have Paul Pogba in your team or would you rather him out of the team? They would say in the team. No,
you don't have a fan base, bro.
So you think you can win the league with McFred the whole season?
No, Mister.
No, that's what I'm not saying that.
Even if I use that criteria, do you know how many players I could use that criteria for?
With players who are not even near world class.
As in, like, would you rather have him in your team than out? If I ask Leicester fans, would you rather have Brighton in your team?
The point I'm trying to make is Manchester United have a better chance of winning the league with Paul Pogba playing week in, week out.
Yeah, but why does that make him more class though?
Yeah.
Why does that make him more class? Because you can see the value. When you guys are looking at... I'm just speaking in context. When you guys are looking at... Because do you not look at Bruno Fernandes and think he's world class?
I don't think he's world class. No.
I personally don't think he's world class.
Not yet. World class requires level. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so
I've said my criteria. Obviously, I don't let people go by my criteria. My criteria is quite strict in it. I don't let people go through the cracks. I don't like this idea that there's so many players that can get into. Look, there needs to be a level of consistency. There needs to be. I need to factor in the winning aspect. I need to see the eye test. Me as a person, I need to see it and be like, oh yeah, come on, this guy can't. He has to do it. And I just think, for me personally, I think there's certain players you just know because of that level of consistency. The only player that fits into my criteria, I mean, who doesn't fit into my criteria, but I still give the world-class category to, is Harry Kane because of that level of consistency in terms of...
You don't think... So you don't think...
No, I do.
No, what he's saying is he doesn't fit everything. Yeah, he doesn't fit every...
Because winning trophies is something that I think a world-class player does give to his team.
The whole spectrum. Okay.
But I need everything. But Kane fits it because of, like, he can get a 40-goal season, for example, and I think that's like that blows your mind. Do you know what I'm saying? And numbers wise, do you know what I'm saying? So
my thing on sorry, other Dan, but my thing on the world class debate is simple. I hate when people go off, but he's top 10 midfielders on the planet. Oh, So
Yeah,
what?
that doesn't mean anything.
Qualify for
Yeah,
anything.
that's,
How-
yeah,
That doesn't mean anything.
What does that mean? What does that mean
It
to
means
me?
nothing.
Back in 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't a case of, oh, because you're top 10, that means you're world class. You set a standard. There's a standard. There's a minimum standard you have to hit as a player to be a world-class player. That's ridiculous consistency, ridiculous game-winning prowess. Just you are literally playing at a world-class level. So for me, world-class isn't dependent on what your mate next to you is doing. World-class is dependent on what level you set as a person. So for me personally,
Yeah,
per position, there could be a point where there's not even any world-class players because they're not
Exactly. It's just like
Yeah.
there's no
Right now,
world-class right back.
There's
no
very
world-class
few.
right back.
Very few.
There's no world-class right backs.
I said this last time that I was on. I said
What's
this
that?
last time I was on. I said world-class players right now, compared to the players that most of us grew up on, I think world-class is a very overly used word because
100%.
Messi, Ronaldo, are aliens, right?
Yeah.
The standard of player has massively been diluted. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you?
It has.
So that's
It
why,
has.
like, when you say world class, I always say, is he really world class though? He's really, really good, but is he world class? You know, like you said, Toby, I'm good for you. I agree with you. To be classed as world class, you have to do it every game, every year, season. You need to be there in the finals for me as well, personally. It's okay doing what Harry Kane does, but let's be honest, Harry Kane will never get his flowers because he doesn't win anything. It's cool you can score 30 plus goals. Okay, everyone will be like, oh, he's so world class. But really, he's not helping his team win anything at all.
Nah,
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
So here's where my Spurs hat is gonna come on here because
Tottenham.
I can't.
I'm not. I'm just saying. It was just an example.
Go on,
Toby,
Dan. Go on.
no, I said you can finish off your point, but that'll be the last point on this world class debate. Before I let Toby go, if you want to see Footy Says talk about world class, click on our last episode. Quick promo. So anyway, go ahead, Toby.
As I said, with the world class debate, I look beyond the whole trophies thing because, as I said, it's dependent on the standard you set as a player. Of course, trophies are a contributing factor. A player who leads his team to trophies, but I can give you examples. Gareth Bale in his last season at Spurs, he didn't win anything. He finished 5th. And he was the best, and he was up against a ridiculous Van Persie that season, and he won the PFA Player of the Year. You're going to tell me he wasn't world class? Luis Suarez. No, he was a world class player right then. It's not a world class season. He was a world class player. Same for Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez at Liverpool. Luis Suarez at Liverpool. His last season.
Dan. This is our debate.
No. I know. Just quickly, I just want to know because I just like to know people's level of thing. So, because those ones are more bait ones. Would you say Luka Modric in the last season before he went Real Madrid was a world class player?
Yes, I would. He was a world class player for me.
See, that's why I say no, innit?
That's different. That's different because I'm a Spurs fan. So I was watching. I was watching week in, and I was telling people long before he was linked with Real Madrid that bona fide, him and Gareth Bale, and maybe him and Gareth Bale world class players. Like no one can see it. Everyone's like, oh no, they're not. They're world class players. Within a year, Modric goes to Real Madrid. 2 years later, Gareth Bale goes to Real Madrid. It's no coincidence, bro. They've been performing at this level for a long time. It's just that you lot are only cutting on to it now. And I feel like with the world class debate as well, as I said, it has to be based on the level that the player is setting because you can't just base it on trophies. You can't because some players are playing at a ridiculous level, but they're not in a team that are capable of getting over the line as much as what they're doing. Harry Kane has literally done everything in his power for us to get trophies. He can't do any more. He's scoring, he's creating, he's heading, he's defending, he's doing literally everything, and he's not won a trophy. So how can you put that down on him? How?
I can, but that's the topic for a different day. Innit? I can.
Topic for a different day.
Yeah.
Topic for a different day. I lean with Toby, but I want to move the conversation a bit because when we talk about title contenders, top 4, and you ask people, they normally say the normal teams: United, Liverpool, City, but before City played, Leicester were top of the league. And for top 4, as Bits and Bobs rightfully said at the start, if David Moyes and West Ham win the game in hand, they go above Liverpool into top 4. So before I go on to everybody else, Miles, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on West Ham this season and how far can West Ham go? And then for everybody else, what do you think of Leicester this season? Leicester and also Brendan Rodgers. Where would you rank him amongst the best managers in the league? Because I think this season, what he's done with Leicester, the first 19 games has been brilliant. And this is not the first time he's done it. He did it last season as well. After 19 games, Leicester won the top 2. But Miles, I'll let you go on about West Ham before I let the rest jump in.
I think we've been quietly going about our business. Obviously, signings like Souček have helped. David Moyes' football is a bit ugly to watch at times. Our better players are sitting on the bench, in my opinion.
But it works.
It works, and that's why you can't knock it. When you're playing Antonio up front in the Premier League, I think that says it all. He's not the best player technically, and he's ugly to watch at times, but he's doing a job. And they've got so much faith in Antonio that they've shipped out Haller. So for me, I know I'm just praying that he doesn't get injured, because our next striker is a youngster, like a academy boy that we got from Manchester United, and he's now sits on the bench for us. So it'll be interesting. I think we can push for the Europa League. But yeah, I mean, look, because when you look at the team, we haven't really got goals, bro. We've got Souček and we've got Antonio. Bowen doesn't get stats as much as he does. He doesn't get stats.
But the thing is, I'll say with West Ham, you might not have goals, but you have players who are capable of getting those goals. Like you said, Jared Bowen, Sai Benrahma, he can chip in with goals.
He's only now just been put into the team.
But I don't think the way Moyes sets up and likes his team to play gets the best out of these players. Or would you disagree with me?
No,
in terms of getting goals.
No, we play very, very rigid, I would say, and try and overload on the wing backs, and then put it in. It's ugly to watch, because you've got players like Yarmolenko sitting on the bench. We shipped out Felipe Anderson. Lanzini is under the most overrated player for me. Where's number 10 for us? Overrated. He was linked to Liverpool at one stage to replace. I think he was to replace Coutinho.
Coutinho, yeah.
Like, doesn't get stats. I've never seen a number 10 that doesn't get stats. But yeah, hopefully, I think Europa League maximum.
And with Brendan Rodgers and Leicester, like, what would you say? How would you say they're doing this season? Like, do you think they can actually finish in the top 4? Because when I talk to people about the top 4, people don't mention Leicester. I was in the pod with Dan and Kojo, and we'd even mention Leicester, and I think that's a bit disrespectful.
Yeah, don't sleep on Leicester. Remember, their best centre back's not even in the team. Siontou's not playing.
You think Siontou's better than Fofana?
Mate, Fofana's decent.
Fofana's
apparently,
even Johnny Evans as well.
No, Fofana's decent, bro. Because apparently Saliba's 100 times better than Fofana, though.
That's what they're saying in France. But however, this is what Arsenal fans are saying, and you know we can't trust Arsenal fans. But go on.
But mate, if Fofana's a bargain, and he looks good, bro. He looks good. You still got Pryor to come back into that team. He wasn't playing yesterday or what day that they played. And Vardy doesn't really get injured. They can do it, bro. Maddison's finding form. I mean, what else? What's his name playing the football of his life? Who's the winger, number 15?
Bobby Barnes.
Mate, they're playing. It's balanced. They play football. When Brendan Rodgers was Swansea manager?
Swansea manager, yeah.
Swansea manager, he played good football. Liverpool, he was close. Leicester, they're good enough. Vardy bangs goals, and so long as you don't give him space, and I think they've got a chance, man. They've got a chance.
I agree. Dan, I've seen on your page you guys have bigged up Brendan Rodgers even before this. I saw you guys put out an article well before this talking about how good Brendan Rodgers was. Where would you rank him amongst managers in the Premier League? Would you say he enters the top 5?
Off the top of my head, I can't even remember the top 5. But what we basically said is that, and in my opinion, he's the best of the rest. So if you think about all the world-class managers in the league, he's definitely the best of the rest. And you can make the argument that he's even above Jose Mourinho right now in terms of his application, in terms of the football that he's implementing and getting the results. No, it's not even. And trust me, hey Toby, if you come,
no, I agree with you.
Yeah. No, I knew you would say that. I knew you would say that.
The way he smiled was a different.
I love Mourinho. Like Mourinho, if Kojo knows, that's my goat, innit? Like whatever happens at Tottenham, whatever happens, that's my goat. But at the end of the day, Rodgers is doing something where he's getting results with the style of play that he's playing. I think, Daniel, you can kind of speak to it, but I think Liverpool fans think of his tenure as a failure, which I disagree with. People forget the squad that he finished second with. People forget the squad. That squad that he finished second with had no right.
He didn't win anything.
It wasn't a failure.
Bobs, that Liverpool team was not supposed to win anything.
Don't mind him. Don't mind him. You know he's getting on to Liverpool today.
It's not about winning. I don't think it was a failure. I don't think it was a success.
It wasn't a success, but it it's hard to judge, isn't it? Yeah, each is their own anyway. If we look at Brendan Rodgers now and what he's doing with the Leicester team, especially with the way football is now, football is all about system. Look at what people are saying about Frank Lampard and how he doesn't have a system and not being able to implement it. Rodgers has a clear system where every single player that plays in that system, whether it be Dennis Pratt, whether it be Tielemans, whether it be Hamza Chowdhury, whoever comes into that side, they know their role. And when they come in and do that role, they play to like the best of their ability. And you just got to give him credit. He develops players. And I think one trait of his that is kind of underrated, especially when it comes to these managers, to these British managers, is that the coaching element. You can tell that he's taken the coaching that he's gained under Mourinho and Chelsea in the past, and he's taken all these habits, all these little traits, and he's carried it on throughout all his jobs. Managers that I love, to be fair, obviously it might seem a bit contradictory, but I love managers who basically live and die by the sword, live and die by their system. They know what they're going into, and they'd rather get sacked playing their way in it. And that's the way it goes for them. And Rodgers is similar to that, but you see some pragmatism in his system as well. That's why I have to give a lot of credit to him. And with the way Leicester are playing, they're definitely up there. Look, I think gone are the days of like, this team is supposed to win the league. Like, you just never know what could happen every single year. And Leicester are showing themselves to be true title contenders. So you got to give him props, man. Got to give him serious credit.
Wait, Toby, why do you think Rodgers is better than Mourinho? Because you said you agreed with Daniel. I personally don't. My top three is still Klopp, Pep, and Jose Mourinho, then Ancelotti. Or it depends how you rank it.
No, but look at it with their clubs rather than their stature.
Exactly. I feel like a lot of people with Jose Mourinho, they look at the CV and they just think, oh, yes.
Yeah.
You just have to ask yourself the question. If Brendan Rodgers right now was in the position Jose Mourinho was at Man United, do you think he could have got more out of the players? If Brendan Rodgers is at Spurs right now, do you think he could be getting more out of our players? If the answer is yes, then why are we still talking about Jose Mourinho being a better manager than Brendan Rodgers because he's got a bigger CV? Jose Mourinho was out of work not too long ago. Yeah, Jose Mourinho is not the manager he used to be. It's not to say that he's a bad manager. Even me, who I'm not his biggest fan, I will admit he's a good manager. He's a good manager. Tactically, there's not many who can come close to him. But you just have to see how each manager's teams apply themselves in games. Why did
the big coach always go for Jose, not Brendan then?
What?
Because Brendan hadn't won anything.
No, you can't say
Brendan ain't got the CV. Brendan ain't got the CV.
You can't say that. Look at West Brom.
Asking you the question. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know.
Yeah, but then that's like me saying, oh, if you support Man United, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked tomorrow, that means you should go and get Arsene Wenger because he's got the massive CV to boot.
No, I'm just talking about these two right now because I hear what you're saying. But the point you're going to
But the point, if we're talking about these two, the point you're going to default to is the fact that Jose Mourinho's won more trophies. That's what you're going to do.
No, it's not just about the trophies. I just think that we're seeing Leicester play well, but everyone's forgetting what happened at the tail end of last season. They choked.
Yeah, they did.
Do you know what I mean? That's
the black mark. That's the black mark and that's the black mark on Brendan Rodgers. But
that they wasn't ready. Now they're ready.
Because they're already in a good position. Do you know what I mean? They're in a good position.
I agree. I feel like the way they capitulated last year was a joke, especially considering they had no European football as well. They literally could just have
one game a week, fam. Do you know what I mean? They had one game a week.
Wait. I'll counter that point because me myself, I thought that was a joke. They had injuries. Exactly, they had injuries. Madison was out for a bit. You have to remember Ricardo Pereira, Soyuncu as well. So it was peak for them. Like the squad is not, they don't have a big squad like most of the big teams. So when they have one or two injuries to the big players, it does affect them. So I will give them the benefit of the doubt. But continue, Toby.
Yeah, but I do think I feel like he's a really good manager now. Like, and the thing is, I was one of the people who I really liked what he did at Swansea. Like when he came up with Swansea, he was one of my favorite managers in the league. So when he went to
Laudrup team was better though, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah,
No
Laudrup.
No way.
Don't think because Laudrup won the cup. No. Rogers did more with
Rogers did the work, man. He put in the mileage first.
Rogers laid the foundation. Don't get me wrong. Laudrup did well, but Rogers was the one who laid the foundations. It's like Pochettino and Ronald Koeman at Southampton. Poch laid the foundations. Koeman came there with better plays and took it to another level, but Poch laid the foundation. So same way I look at it with Brendan Rodgers, and I feel like what he's doing at Leicester is fantastic. He has got that black mark under his name, which is the fact that when it comes to getting his teams over the line, for whatever reason, it just doesn't happen outside of Scotland. So this season, he's bolstered the team. They're into the knockouts of the Europa League. They're flying high. They're right at the top of the table with I don't know how many games left to play. Champions League, a lot of people are going to be thinking, you know what, Leicester, why aren't we talking about them to make the Champions League spot? And they're right. We should be talking about them to make the Champions League spot because they're a credible contender. But my thing with Leicester is how well can they cope when the Europa League starts? Because
on previous evidence, they've struggled when they didn't have that.
So it'll be interesting to see, but I do feel like with the added squad depth, with the knowledge that they gained from their failures last year, they'll be much more equipped to deal with the rigors of the league and the Europa League. And for me now, I was literally saying it the other day. I'm actually taking them seriously now because last year I didn't take them seriously until it was too late and they were flying high. This year I'm taking them a lot more seriously now. Like when we talk about the likes of us, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, or whatnot for top four, whatever, Man United, you have to speak about them as well because it seems like as if they're dead. They're going to finish somewhere in that first to sixth spot this season.
That's fair enough. I honestly think they can finish top four because the way they're playing, the consistency that they're showing, not many teams are showing that this season. And the key players are hitting form at the right time. James Maddison, Jamie Vardy always loves a goal. And Brendan Rodgers, the thing with him at Liverpool was when he first came, he only had one way of playing. He was always attacking. He didn't know how to be pragmatic. But then I don't know what happened when he went to Scotland. Bits and balls might correct me. But it's as if he learned how to be pragmatic. And now coming to Leicester, you see Leicester playing through at the back. You see Leicester doing 2 banks of 4. He has more things in his locker, and I think they can go all the way for top 4. Before we round up,
think about Scotland.
Wait, go on.
Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
No, go on. It's
think about Scotland. He won the treble. I think he won, the treble, 3 trebles in a row or 4 trebles in a row. And the thing about Scotland is that it doesn't get taken seriously because of the quality of football and the quality of player. To be honest, it's the minimum to win the league at Celtic, and at the time, Rangers had been inconsistent. Rangers had been relegated to the very bottom league, and they had to work them way up. So Celtic really, for the first 4 years, when Brendan was there, he had a free run at the league title. And obviously in Scotland, he had time to, adapt to his craft, add to his craft, and so on. But most people that come up to Scotland that manage Rangers and Celtic normally win the league. So it's good for him, because obviously he's had the trophies and stuff. However, it's a different ball game. And I hear what Tobs arguing, and Tobs, I'd love to have a good chat with you about football in general. And I just think it's okay that they're popping the good shit right now, yeah? Just on evidence, Brendan has struggled to conclude this kind of race. He struggled to get into the top 4. And obviously, we're going to have European football. Is he going to be pragmatic in the Thursday-Sunday thing? I don't know. Personally, I don't know. It's different, when these games come quick and fast. And certain players aren't used to these kind of games. Certain players aren't used to the intensity and also the expectation. What's his name? Madison was saying something about, we'll just carry on, blah, blah. it's okay saying it, but you need to do it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But yeah, man, that's all I wanted to tell that.
I think. So I just wanted to last quick point. I think the one thing, if I was a Leicester fan, yeah. The one thing I'd be encouraged about if I was a Leicester fan on evidence this season is, like we've said, a lot of players are hitting form now, but a lot of key starters have missed the season. Pereira's only just come back to injury now. He's been out for like 6-7 months. Sionchu's just come back into full fitness now. Ndidi's only just come back into the team in recent weeks as well. And then even Jose Perez just come back into the fold too as well. A lot of players are coming back into contention to play now, and they're already they're right at the top of the table. So you can only imagine that with their better players in their first 11, the standard of football is going to improve, and the results are going to get better. It's only until recent weeks that I actually thought, okay, you know what, Leicester actually playing well, because at the start of the season, even though they were picking up points, I was looking at the performances and I wasn't really that impressed. Their home record as well. It's only recently with the draw against United and the win against Chelsea that the home record starts to look better, because before that, they lost to Everton, they lost to Fulham. Like, they had some fun results, but on the whole, I just have to applaud what they're doing this season. You can't really knock it. Knockout stages of the Europa League, right there at the top of the table as well. And they got a manager who's playing an exciting brand of football. And they just moved into their new training ground, which looks unbelievable as well. So if you're a Leicester fan, you have to be excited.
Before we round up, there's one manager that I want to touch on. At the start of the season, I thought he was going to do better than he's doing now. I didn't think he was going to challenge, because challenging for the league is hard. But for me, Frank Lampard is having a mare at Chelsea. And before I let Daniel talk on Chelsea and round up, I'm going to ask the boys a simple yes or no answer. That's all I want. I don't want any explanation. I just want yes or no. Should Frank Lampard get sacked? Manny, yes or no?
Emphatic yes. Dan knows already, so we've spoken about this.
Bits and bobs. Should Frank Lampard get sacked?
No.
In fact, no. Keep him. We want him in the job.
Daniel, this is the final segment, so try and keep it short and snappy. But give us your thoughts on Frank Lampard, because, like I said, what I'm seeing with the players he has at his disposal, for me, it's embarrassing.
Short and snappy. Had the live stream yesterday, which was basically discussing it. It was actually a great live stream. Catch it on Eyes on the Ball TV if you want to have a look at that. But short and snappy, what I would say is Frank Lampard has been given tools. I think he's been a victim of his own success. He definitely overachieved in his first season as a manager of Chelsea. Transfer ban, young players, infused all of that. Blah, 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 whatever you want to call it, in terms of maybe being forced to infuse youth players into the team and whatnot. Finishing fourth with that squad, of course, 66 points. Come on, that's not getting you top four in any other season. But at the end of the day, he got that, and we move from there. The thing about Chelsea is that we don't look at that. We don't look at the fact that he overachieved. I think it's even the fact that he overachieved that gave him that 250 million, that trust from Roman Abramovich, if that makes sense. So, and once you get that money, I mean, yeah, you can point to COVID and all of that, but look, in football, all things aren't created equal. That's what I always say. So you can't have your cake and eat it and say you need time to embed your players pre-season, this and that, and also have the 250 mil that you want to bring the players that you want into the team. You've brought in certain players into the team, and it looks like you haven't watched these players play with the way that you're trying to implement a system. I mean, in his first season in charge, we were getting in behind. We were at least trying to get in behind teams. I mean, we were scoring goals in behind, getting our key men, giving them one-on-one chances. Now you have better players at your disposal to do that, and it looks like we're totally lost in ideas, confidence, creativity, whatever you want to call it, tactical awareness. I mean, there's been so many pictures of people dissecting Chelsea and the way that we're playing, the fact that there's literally an empty midfield vacuum, the fact that players are all spread out wide. It's a weird little box shape. We're easy to mark against. We're easy to press against. Like, there's so many things you can point to. The squad management. I mean, Tomori situation. I mean, Maldini embarrassing us, saying that Tomori is a quality centre back who they've been wanting for time, and Hudson-Odoi Bayern Munich saying they're ready to spend 80 million. I mean, and he can't even get a start in our team. I mean, Ziyech, Havertz, and Werner came into Chelsea with 100 goal contributions last season. This season, I don't think they have combined for 15 altogether in the league. That's not good enough. And I mean, yes, players can take responsibility and there has to be an accountability element to it. But at the end of the day, Klopp said it today, I create the tactics for my players to succeed and I have to take responsibility. And Lampard's not taking responsibility right now. I mean, I had a conversation, I'm not sure who it was with the Chelsea hour a lot on DMs. And like, it's literally, I mean, I'm not as strong as them in terms of their Lampard out agenda, but at the same time, they're making very, very valid points as to how Lampard has created a situation which is when Lampard gets sacked, because it's not even going to be an if, it's going to be a when. When Lampard gets sacked, he's going to only have himself to blame for it. Do you know what I'm saying? He's going to only have himself to blame for it. And really, truly, it's sad, man. The people who can't separate Lampard, the player, from Lampard, the coach, I said it on my stream. I said, look, I understand diehard fans. I might disagree with that, but that's your business. You can be a diehard fan and be like Lampard. I will never be that Lampard out thing. But for me, I'm a Chelsea fan, and I think the first thing I think of is, can we be successful with the manager at the helm? Because teams take on the identity of their manager. If you look at all the managers in the league and all the teams in the league, you can see the way they're playing, and that's based on the identity of the manager. If I was to ask you what is Lampard's identity, you couldn't tell me. So for me, yeah, Lampard is the right word, deserve? I don't think he deserves to be sacked, but I think he should be for the sake of Chelsea if they want to save this season. Because I still believe top four is there. It's available. All you need is a run of games. And if you bring in a manager now, they can implement a system where even if they're not able to get all their ideas across, we can get the bounce back manager feeling and get that top four spot. Because all it takes, I'm telling you, all you need is 3 wins on the bounce and you're already in contention.
100.
Yeah, that's what Howard was saying about Liverpool.
No, all the defeats this season were 5 points behind Liverpool. And Liverpool, you would say, if I asked everyone now, will Liverpool finish in the top four? Everyone will say yeah. So why can't we?
But yes. But I would say yes.
Man gave us a whole lecture.
I'm sorry, man. I'm passionate about my team, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Like Lampard's not been good enough, man. It's not been good enough, man. So yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for this. Dan, you missed the start. Everyone was on to me, but I'm happy that this.
I know, man. That's what I came in for, man. I wanted to sing "You'll Never Walk Alone," man.
Dan, you know the thing is, like, I can see you at the bottom, so I can see that you were there. I was like, nah, I ain't letting another person get on to me. But guys,
I just to clarify before you end the stream, yeah, I want you to be an honest Liverpool fan, because I've been in discussions with Liverpool fans who are just crazy. Trent has been terrible this season. Let's just call a spade a spade. And do you think, in your opinion, yeah, do you ever think he'll become a good defensive fullback? Because I honestly don't think he will. I know he's younger, but I don't think he will.
No, I don't think he will. With certain defenders, you can see, like, defenders can smell danger. And the way they react to dangerous situations, you can see that with good defenders and bad defenders. And the way Trent reacts to certain situations, for me, is nothing short of a disgrace. I don't want to go on a tangent about Trent's defensive ability, because I'll be here for ages. But I don't think he'll ever become a good defensive fullback. The sooner he enters midfield, the better for Liverpool. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching another episode of FS Uncut. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Follow everyone on the socials. If you go on Tobs' socials, you'll find his YouTube channel. Follow that. Follow Eyes on the Ball TV on Instagram, YouTube. Manny Good Vibes also does a lot of good videos. Follow him. And thank you for tuning in.